I've been using the Oukitel C31 phone for a while and indeed had a couple to pass on to other people who were in need of a phone. So I was pleased to get an opportunity to get hold of a C32. It's quite a nice phone. It's a big improvement on the previous one with loads more memory and a lot of other good features. It's 4G for a start, which is essential these days because so many 3G networks are closing down. So here is the phone. It was a bit difficult to tip it out of the box. It came out easily enough, but I just couldn't pick it out. And it comes wrapped nicely in a polythene bag. It's a lovely phone. It comes with a little bit of information on the front of it, and yeah, that's basically it there. So it comes with a screen protector already fitted, and with a plug and a charging lead, which you're going to need. So it comes with a SIM pin. So you need to push the thing in, and I found it actually quite difficult to pull the tray out. The SIM pin's actually got a hook on the end. I would have been better off using the hook on the end to pull it out, like I would have had to have done if it had been a recessed SIM pin. So there we are, all done and dusted and ready to turn on. So before we turn it on and let's set it up, let's have a quick flyby. You can see on the end there you've got the 3-pin jack plug for headphones, which they still provide on this, even though most headphones these days will be Bluetooth, and there is the C-type charging connector. On this side here is the smart button, which you can program if you want to. I haven't programmed mine to do anything yet, but there you are. That's the fingerprint reader. Quite a good fingerprint reader. It actually reads fingerprints a lot better than some of these Edge ones do. And then the plus-minus button, and the fingerprint reader is also the on-off button, of course. There's the camera array. You've got 3 cameras and a flash there. Obviously there's a front camera. It's fitted with a screen protector, as I said before. So all in all, pretty good. It works a lot better than the C31. The C31 was a great phone with a great screen, but it was limited by only having 16 gig of memory. This one's got loads more than that. And so here we are turning the phone on. You can see the Oukitel logo comes up, and eventually it'll pop up with a thing saying it's English US. You'll need to change that to English UK if, like me, you're in the UK, and it's all ready to go. So here is a quick photo of the C31 and the C32 side by side. Since it would seem that the C32 is a replacement of the C31, I thought it'd be good to look at the two of them together. They're quite similar superficially. They've both got the C-type connector on the back, and they've both got a 3.5-inch jack. On the C31, the old one, it's on the top. On the new one, it's on the bottom. This one, if you want to get the SIM, you have to take the case off, take the drop case off, and take the cover off the back, which is quite fiddly to do. On the other one, on the C32, you just use a SIM pin like you would on a normal phone. Another difference with the C32 is that it's got a fingerprint reader, which the C31 doesn't have, and there's the camera arrays. Slightly better cameras on the C32, and I find the results I get with them are far better than they were with the C31. Internally, there are some differences as well. The C31, when I bought it, was supplied with Android 11. I gather it's now being shipped with Android 12, which is fair enough, but it was Android 11 originally. You can put you've got 3 card slots in the C31, but only 2 in the C32. But then the C32 is supplied with 128 gig of user RAM, which is sometimes erroneously referred to as ROM, whereas the C31 only had 16, so it was a bit limited in terms of how many apps you could install in it. No real limit with the C32 that I've found so far. The screens on both are very, very good. They're both exactly the same size screen, I think, and the drop cases seem to me to be exactly the same as well. So all in all, the C32 is a big improvement. They're both supplied with a charge plug and a charge cable, and they're both supplied with an instruction book which has some useful information in. And with the C32, of course, you get the SIM pin, which you can see lying on the bench just in front of it. So all in all, I think the C32 is definitely worth the extra 40-odd quid that it costs. The C31, I think, was slightly more expensive when I originally bought it. It's obviously been dropped in price. Another big difference, though, is that the C32 supports 4G, whereas the C31 was only 3G. And in the UK, at least, a lot of networks are turning off their 3G networks. So if you're considering these two phones, I would definitely go for the C32. It is a big step forward, and it's a really nice phone, especially for only £120. Now, one feature of the newer versions of Android which I do rather like is that when you're transferring your apps from one phone to another, you can do it with a C2C patch cable, which is what I'm doing here. Of course, photography is a big part of what we do with our phones. This is quite a difficult one because of the varying light, as is this one here, and they both come out fairly well. And here is another photography sample. This one's outside in the garden, and here's another indoor one of a jigsaw that we made on a project that I was running for someone recently. So all in all, they worked quite well. So here's my front wildflower lawn, which has been mowed and scraped off because I want to get some wildflowers and some yellow rattle growing in there to cut down on the amount of grass. And over here is my flower border. And I planted some new wildflower plants in here this year, as well as a few non-wildflower plants like these violas here. So I've got lady's bedstraw there, there's a wild clary over there. So I just wanted to mute this little bit so I could say a bit about the sound it picked up while I was recording that video in my garden. It seemed to work quite well. So I'm quite pleased with the way it does that. And now here's a shot of the phone being used with Android Auto, and there's a short clip of it in the minute as well. You can see the screen is a bit different from the way it used to be. So that's all the Android Auto applications. This is the normal split screen display it wakes up with. If I just touch on the map, that will fill the whole screen. I go back to split screen by doing that. Click on this if I want the audio stuff to fill the whole screen. Go back to split screen by doing that. I really do like this Android 12 Android Auto. I think it's quite good.